I feel like I'm going through a breakup. Like, that's literally what this has been feeling like. Hi, besties. I know it's been a day, literally one day, since my last video where I ranted about wanting a plot twist in my life and just feeling really stuck and stagnant, and just like my entire life is like crashing down. But the truth is, I'm already having some breakthroughs that I really want to share with you right away, because I don't want to wait for the right time. I feel like part of my issue, or part of the feeling of being stuck, is because I'm constantly waiting for the right time, a certain level of perfection that simply does not exist, and in fact like takes away from the human experience of chaos and messiness. So we're gonna get into it. Okay, one of the first breakthroughs I've been having that I feel like has just finally materialized and I'm able to articulate right now is that the path I've taken of content creation and freelancing has been feeling like a rat race of its own. And what I mean by that is, I feel like I've just been wanting and trying to prove myself, because this path that I've chosen is unconventional. It's different, and like everyone on the internet will make it seem like, oh my god, like the minute you start this path, within the first 6 months to a year, your life completely changes. And because mine hasn't, I feel like I've not only failed myself, but I've also failed the people watching me. That felt so heavy just saying it out like that. But yeah, so it feels like a rat race of its own. It feels like churning out content, especially, has been because of this constant need for validation, right? And in fact, I had a meeting with this person in the morning who was looking to build a content team for his company, and so he got in touch and we just got chatting. And he asked me a question of, okay, why do you think your follower count hasn't increased as much? And I admitted that, yeah, I mean, I haven't been focusing too much on hooks, and I'm more community oriented than on following, etc. And I wasn't very confident saying that, because I know that for a lot of agencies and companies, like, the numbers and analytics really matter. And I'm paraphrasing him here, but he went on to say something on the lines of how, at the end of the day, as creators, it is the followers and the views that really count. And if you're making content that is not really catering to that template or what works in the algorithm, then we can stick to making it for family and friends. And I would disagree, but in that moment I did not know how to say it, because it was true that I have been at a lower follower count for a while now. But it's also true that I have built a very strong community. I have built like brand connections and brand collaborations. I have generated revenue out of all of this. For someone with just 1.2k followers, I have done a lot. I have a close-knit community that actually values the content that I make, that comes back to me with feedback and gives me the kind of support that real friends do. Like, everyone that I interact with is a real friend to me, and that does not come with just chasing views and metrics. And I feel like that's the biggest reason my soul is like, girl, take a step back, because what the hell? Like, I always knew that yes, it is a numbers game, but didn't the whole point of content creation at one point start because people wanted a break from their 9 to 5? And right now, content creation has become a 9 to 5 of its own, and I'm not really sure how I feel about that anymore. And again, I want to reiterate that, because it's possible that these videos will later be dug out, I don't know, in the future, and people will just like hold it and be like, oh my god, you said this at that time. I want to state for the record that my mind is going to keep changing. It is a part of the messiness, it's a part of the journey to constantly have your mind change about the things that you were so sure of, so certain of. So maybe there might be a point where I do feel that way about content, and it makes sense to me to follow those or chase those numbers and metrics and analytics. But right now, at least by the amount of restlessness I'm feeling and about the fact that I feel like I'm pushing against the wall, I want to take a step back. I want to pause and I want to really assess how I feel about this, instead of continuing to go at it with no clarity and just burning myself out. The second breakthrough that I'm having is thanks to my best friend Shrish. She's also the reason I got into content creation, really. I love you, Shrish. I was crying to her on video call, and she very patiently was listening to me. And then she gave me the perspective of, Aish, you don't have to give up. You don't have to give up this particular path, because my whole tension was coming up from the fact that, oh my God, do I have to give up this entire path and completely pivot? Because I'm prone to that all or nothing thinking, right? And she was just like, hey, what if you're not giving up, but you're just changing the way that you're approaching this path? And that makes a lot more sense to me, because honestly, when I sit at the end of the day and ask myself, do I want to continue creating videos or continue creating content, my answer is yes. Despite all of the breakdowns, despite all of the crying, my answer is yes, which means that I genuinely do want to do this. A part of my heart still feels for this. But the way I'm feeling about it has to change. And honestly, this whole thing has been feeling like a breakup of sorts. Like, you've been, it's like having a relationship that on paper looks perfect and is supposed to check a lot of boxes, but then the actual lived experience is not feeling that great. And as painful as it is, you know that you have to either, like, part ways, or you need to kind of adapt yourself such that that person better fits your life. How we say that certain people are not meant to be like lovers in your life, and rather they fit better as friends. I feel like that's what I am feeling and going through with respect to my relationship with content and freelancing, because right now both are in the forefront and like the center of my world, but maybe they need something, they need to be more of a background, so that whatever it truly is that needs to be at the center can better support that system. Yeah. And a third breakthrough, thanks to my bestie Shambhavi. I love you, Shams. She literally just sent me a voice note a couple of minutes ago, and it just, she helped me understand or paint this picture of knowing that the path that I've chosen is a privilege. Yes, I am extremely privileged to be able to quit my 9 to 5 and sit at home and have the support of my parents, not have to worry about food, not have to worry about rent, not have to worry about electricity or anything else that maybe another 24-year-old is very realistically having to worry about and simply cannot give up in order to chase their dreams. It's knowing that I have the privilege, and also at the same time giving myself the grace that I still feel sucky about it. And that is such a big one, because I genuinely feel like, yeah, I feel like I have not let myself feel bad about the things that are not working for me on this path, because I'm like, I'm not allowed to feel bad, because I am so privileged. How can I complain about the things that I've had the privilege to do? That's such a terrible thing to do. I felt like I did not give myself the permission. Yesterday's video was the first time I even gave myself permission to be like, hey, maybe this actually sucks. Because, it makes sense. And I'm also going to be really honest about the fact that my mental space was in shambles last year when I did make the decision to leave my 9 to 5 and take up content creation and freelancing. I was not in a mentally best space. I was still dealing with the remnants of my anxiety diagnosis. I was still very anxious. I was very much still living that reality. And so I also needed a kind of path that let me take breaks more often, let me do things on my own schedule, let me do things the way I wanted to do it, and not have to be so answerable and dependent on someone else's approval, because it was ruining my mental health, right? And I feel like over time, since I have also passed out of that mental stage, I want to, change the way the relationship that it looked like in the beginning, that was last year, looks vastly different right now. And I feel like that's why I'm feeling that need to like change my approach with it, because I'm no longer in that mental space. I have undergone like so many rebirths this year. I don't know, this like version 23 or something of me this year. Like I've been changing every week and every month, right? And so naturally, when you change as a person, the things in your life also have to change to be able to accommodate and keep up with the changes that you're feeling. So right now I'm feeling more inclined towards having a mentor in my life, not wanting to do things alone, because content creation and freelancing can be a very, very lonely and an isolating journey that unless you put yourself out there, you are constantly, you're the first one to like message people and kind of like make that effort to have a relationship with your network. It is very, very lonely. I'm gonna be really honest about it, right? I have been blessed, touchwood, with amazing, amazing networks who are so much more than just contacts. They're actual well-wishers. They're part of my community. There's some of them have become my best friends, and I rely so much on them. And so I'm at a point where I want to be around more people, like that extroversion, that extroverted self that I am is craving for that kind of company, to bounce off ideas off of other people, collaborate with people, just exist in more spaces where there are people around me. That's what I'm craving right now more than anything. So yeah, I guess those are the breakthroughs for now. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it in a week or two, but that's the whole point of me sharing these right away, because these are messy feelings and this is what it means to be a human being. And I feel like we're forgetting that more and more as this technology and this need for perfection, even in the creative space, like continues to increase by the day. And yeah, this is when I feel the most alive, when I'm sharing my raw feelings as is with you, unscripted. And this is where my true power is. This is what I'm really good at, being able to have a heart-to-heart conversation, whether that's with you through a screen, whether that's with you in person. And I want to be able to continue doing that. And thank you so much again for hearing me out. Let me know if any of these spoke to you, if you've ever been in situations that also made you feel some of the things that I have described in this video. And thank you so much for all of your support. I've already been receiving so many DMs and comments from my beautiful, beautiful community that I'm so, so blessed to have built. And it means so much to me. And I love you, and I'll see you in my next video.